I would like to understand how consciousness gets associated with mind body. In yoga, we try to achieve a high pranic state. Is that to help make mind one pointed? But doesn't one pointedness lead to high prana? During meditation, does one happen to feel that there is no clear association between the observer or the mind? I think so, Swarupji, your mind is pretty confused by maybe reading too much on internet, or I don't know whatever your source of these informations are, but definitely there is a lot of confusions. Number one, how does consciousness gets associated with mind body? Uh, Actually, the mind and the body is happening in consciousness. It's not that the consciousness is bang on in some time in pregnancy that the baby gets associated with consciousness, or certain another time when the baby pops out of the mom's womb. No, no, no. Everything is actually happening in the consciousness. Consciousness is not that which is limited, which you think is limited in the mind or which is running the mind. This mind, this body, and the billions of bodies in this world, and this whole earth, and the whole universe, not only our Milky Way, I'm saying the whole universe is actually in this consciousness. So there is no question of that there is some precise method or way in which the mind body will get associated with the consciousness. Secondly, when you do yoga, depending upon what you mean by that, but in my understanding, when you do asana and pranayam, you are not creating any high state of pranic, but definitely it is going to help you to have a one-pointed mind. In Sanskrit we call it ekagrata. Having passion for just one and nothing else. Two, you say that in meditation there is, when does this happen to feel that there is no clear association between the observer or the mind? Now, it's again a very confused statement. But what I can make out of it in my little understanding, and that is that you wish to understand when does the observer get the experience of being different from the mind. Actually, the observer is not an observer if observer isn't seeing itself separate from the mind. To observe anything, you need a distance in between two. Like say, if I am the observer, just an example, and this paper which I need to observe, then paper is different from me. Now move this paper away and let this be like this body. If I wish to observe the body, I can only do that when I understand, realize that I am not the body. Self is not body, self is not mind, self is not intellect, self is not the senses. This understanding has to go down very deep, and only then you can be the observer of the body, of the mind, of... Now, it is not about repeating this sentence again and again. I am observer, I am observer, I am observer. It's not like mantra chanting. Being observer means you know who you are, and you know the body, the mind, and the intellect. Now, although this thinking is happening through the mind, when you say I am the observer, is it your mind which is saying I am the observer, or is it the observer saying I am the observer? Point to be noted. Now, observer doesn't has a mind and a tongue to speak, but observer is using the mind and the speech to speak or just to think. Now, the mind which is thinking that I am the observer is not the observer. Now, there is a great lock, I would say. There is a big knotty thing over here. The knot is that without de-alienating yourself from the mind, you are not an observer. What happens is the mind is dividing itself into two. One part is saying I'm an observer, and the another part wants to be observed. Now this is going to be a very conflicting situation. That's why I have found that all those people who are doing this, jaggeron of observer and observing and observer and observing and witnessing, they're pretty confused about it. They are thinking with the mind, but they want to think that I am the observer and I am observing the mind. The tricky part is, mind is tool of the real self. Mind cannot function without the real self, but real self exists without the mind. Yet, when the Sakshi, the witness, uses the mind, even then it doesn't get entangled with the mind. What I'm saying will be a little challenging to understand, but you really, really need to open up your mind and widen your horizons to absorb what I'm saying.